All right. Hey guys, how's it going? It's Joy. I'm back again with another live. I hope that you guys are doing well and I hope that you guys are staying safe. So, you guys, I'm always be trying to get my hair right on this camera. I definitely got to get it retwisted again very soon. Soon, for sure, for sure. But happy Sunday, you guys. I hope all is well and you guys are doing good out there and enjoying your Sunday, your Sunday. Hold on one second, you guys. Oh, Jesus, Lord, help me. Jesus, help me, Lord. So, you guys, I want to talk about more on the narcissistic family cult because you guys know that we have been kind of breaking it down. We started with the part one, we did part two. So I kind of wanted to do a part three for those of you that could be new to, understanding narcissistic abuse, overcoming toxic, negative family dynamics, or it could be toxic friendships or toxic connections, any way in which you could, relate or meet an individual that could have NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. We definitely just want to talk about those kind of things. And let's just talk about some of the secrets that, they may not want to tell you, or some of the family cult secrets that maybe you may be in, or somebody is in, or maybe this is just good information for you to know about, right? Now, if this is you guys' first time watching me, again, my name is Joy. I am a narcissist abuse coach. I've been dealing with narcissists since 2006, and since 2017, I've been helping former victims, now survivors, heal, move on, and recover after dealing with narcissistic abuse. Give me one second, you guys. Hold on. I gotta fix something. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. Oh, Jesus, help me, Lord. Help me, Jesus. Help me, Lord. One second, you guys. Hold on. All right, you guys. I had to I had to fix my hair because I felt like I was gonna like be playing in it like the whole video, and I didn't want to do that. You know what I mean? So so I just wanted to fix it. How does that look? Does that look good, you guys? I had to fix my hair. So all right, so you guys, I wanted to touch on this topic here. So we're going to be discussing narcissistic family cults here. So some secrets. So again, like I said, my name is Joy. I've been dealing with narcissists since 2006. Since 2017, I've been helping former victims, now survivors, heal, move on, and recover. So my personal experience, you guys. So I've dealt with three individuals that had NPD, or well, two individuals that had BPD, two individuals that had NPD, and one individual that had BPD. So my aunt that I lived with for 5 years was a narc. She was a somatic narcissist. And also, while living with my aunt, I did get in contact with an individual that was a covert narcissist. He had NPD as well. And then, once I did go into contact with those two individuals back in late 2014, early 2015, there was an individual that I worked with for about 4 months who had BPD, and I only luckily was in contact with that individual for about 4 months before, going no contact. So that has basically been my experience. Now, along the way, I have ran into some other folks that were narcs, and, I definitely was able to kind of move past it. But, definitely learned a lot. And again, just my experience, like I said, just helping other people, navigate the abuse, understand it, recognize it, and how to, manage it, and, be aware of it, type of thing, and how to, be able to navigate through the abuse, right, and overcome it and things like that, right? So that's basically has been my experience and my story dealing with narcissistic abuse. It definitely has not been easy. A lot of ups and downs, dealing with those type of individuals. Never knew that there was such a thing of a person having NPD. I never knew. I had no clue. I guess, sometimes we live in a bubble and we don't know what we don't know. You get what I'm saying? So, you definitely will have those type of experiences. But hey, Shay Love, hi. You said, I'm here for it. This abuse is sinister. The whole family dynamic with them is toxic. Absolutely. Coverts are the worst. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, these individuals are abusers. That's what they do. They abuse their victims. They get them to do things out of fear, guilt, and obligation. A lot of them are very demanding. A lot of them are very overbearing. They do things in excess. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and thinking that there's going to be a different result, and it's the same result, same outcome. You get what I'm saying? And so, they're very, they like drama. They're troublemakers. They're individuals. They know that they're the problem, and they like that. You get what I'm saying? They like the attention. They like to stir up stuff because they're miserable. And what is that saying? Misery loves company, right? And so, because they're miserable, they want to make you feel the same way. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, and some people, whether they know it or not, they may be involved in a cult, a family cult dynamic, where basically a cult is just a group, pretty much. It's just a group of people that behave the same way, they think the same way, they talk the same way, they have the same attitudes, the same behaviors, the same perspectives and things like that. They do things the same. You get what I'm saying? And so that's basically what you're going to get when it comes to this narcissist. You get what I'm saying? And so yeah, I'm just trying to get my hair right. So I'm still growing it out and things like that. So, and this is my real hair too, y'all. Y'all know I had to give my hair a break from the extensions and stuff like that because y'all know how that be. But yeah, and so you just want to be mindful of this toxic dynamic. Now, I did kind of want to break it down as far as what you can expect here when it comes to a narcissistic cult. And I also will kind of get into maybe some more things that the narcissist doesn't want you to know as well here. Narcissistic. And I feel like I kind of did go over a lot in that previous video that I did on Wednesday. So there was a lot that was covered in that. So this is just kind of more of a follow-up from that video here. So, but Shay Love, make sure that you do subscribe to the video and share. I saw your page, Shay Love. You talk about a lot of things on your page. I saw also you talk about narcissistic abuse as well. So that's dope. Have you've dealt with narcissists, Shay Love, if you don't mind me asking? But yeah, covert narcissists are the worst because the thing about it, they like to blend in like they're normal. They like to act like, they're like the average person, and you know what I'm saying? They like to pretend like they behave the same way. Their attitudes are just like normal people, but the thing that gives them away is, they're attention seekers, so you can always kind of get a feel of this individual because they're always looking for attention and they're always trying to do things in excess and, and stuff like that. So you just kind of like, you get what I'm saying? So you can, it's not that easy to spot at first because sometimes the narcissist is very good at hiding. They like to hide a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But the more you get to know them, and you're around them behind the scenes, or you may hear it through the grapevine or whatever the case may be, then you would begin to see, their toxicity. You would begin to see their manipulation, their controlling behavior, demanding and being entitled and feeling like, um, they're entitled to the things in your life, or you owe them something and things like that. Or, if they don't get their way, they'll lash out, or, and throw tantrum tantrums, just like a kid. Like narcissists are like kids, literally. Like even the parents will behave like kids. Like just like I said in the previous video that I did, a lot of times the narcissistic, whether it's the mother or the father, they like to parentify. I think I'm saying this right. Parentification. They like to parentify their kids. So this is a dynamic where, let's say it's the mother or the father, they become like the kid, and then what the narc parent will do is that they will switch it to where the kid becomes like the parent. So they make those kids, whether they're young adult children or they're really really young, or they could be older adult children, they make those kids parent them, even though the narc is supposed to be a parent figure. The narc parent begins to use their children as a confidant, or they use them as like to be a second girlfriend or boyfriend, even though this narc mother or father is already in a relationship, or let's say they're married and things like that. They will begin to treat that their son or daughter, whoever their child is, they'll treat them as if they are their spouse, or they are, you know, like a friend, even like at a young age. And again, it's not saying that you can't be friends with your parents. Obviously, yeah, love your parents, but there should be boundaries in that regards. Like if even like when young, I've actually like had or heard of it where individual their mother was a narc, and they basically admitted that they was being used as a second boyfriend, or they would be put in competition with the narcissist boyfriend. It's like the son was competing with the narcissistic mother's boyfriend for attention, and who gets liked more, who gets more affection, or you get what I'm saying? Like it was just kind of like a weird dynamic, like narcissistic family cults begin to engage in. Like it's a lot of incest going on where there's boundaries being crossed, everyone's in everyone's business, there's no privacy, um and things like that. There's no values, there's no morals, there's a lot of just hate and jealousy, envy, a lot of just petty stuff, very petty. And a lot of times too in those cults, they like to make you feel like you're responsible for them, like you are obligated to take care of things that happen in the family dynamic, even if it's not in your own immediate family. Let's just say it's other like distant family members, like that the cult, if something were to happen, like I've literally seen this happen, you guys, like where the narc mother, let's say if something were to happen in that family dynamic, right? Let's say it's like a distant cousin or distant relative. What they'll do is they will make you responsible for something that happens to somebody else. Like, it's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's very just like baffling and mind blowing. It's like, why do you think I'm responsible for someone else? Unless I could see if it was my kid, or if it's a spouse, or you get what I'm saying? Like if it's in a certain connection or dynamic, but it's just, if it's outside of me, I'm at a distance from this particular situation in person. It's just like, why do I have to do something about that? You get what I'm saying? Or why do I need to feel responsible for someone else's life? Why do I need to, take care of somebody that's not taking care of themselves? Like, you get what I'm saying? So, like I said, what happened was something happened in with a distant relative, and the narc called the son and was like, hey, this happened to so and so. And, they hung up. And then I guess that individual felt obligated to go and consult with the narc mother and the other person that the problem was going on, like whatever the situation was, that, the person felt obligated. And I guess he was looking at me like I was supposed to do something. I'm like, well, I'm just enjoying my day. Like, it has nothing to do with me. You get what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. In these cults, they feel there's like a sense of obligation. There's a sense of fear. there's a sense of like, oh, we got to do this together, and we got to feel, it's like they're making each other responsible for each other's problems and issues and responsibilities and things like that. It's like, no, like you're your own human being, you have your own responsibilities, you have your own things going on, and it's like you're only responsible for you, yourself, and your immediate family, or even if it's the immediate family, I mean, you're responsible for those that are in your actual household. You get what I'm saying? Not anybody else outside trying to make you feel guilty about something that has nothing to do with you. That's a lot of times what those cults will do. You get what I'm saying? Shay, you said, I have my spouse, the fact that they are on YouTube and the fact that I can't go as low as he has, without being dirty, me limited to speaking more directly, although he throws jabs and much more. Oh, wow. I see. You said limits me speaking out. One love. Thank you for Sunday, going through it again. You're doing, oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I mean, I get it, like, because some folks, I mean, if you have a spouse, and I mean, I'm not saying that your person is a narc, but I mean, you could be like worried if folks are watching you, which, again, narcs are watching. There's all types of people watching. There's people that are narcs that are watching. There's people that are victims of it. There's people that are just wanting to learn more, so that way they can have the information for future reference. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, all needs to be aware at the end of the day. And like I said, I know sometimes some people may be offended or some people may be upset, but at the end of the day, it's not really about that. It's about helping the victims and their survivors heal and move on. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, the thing about it is that these narcissists shouldn't be abusing people, right? They shouldn't be mistreating people. They shouldn't be trying to take advantage of innocent people or mistreat an innocent person, or doing this type of devious behavior and being deceptive and lying and starting chaos and drama. They shouldn't be doing that. You get what I'm saying? They're very aware of what it is that they're doing. And so, if it comes to light, it comes to light. It is what it is. It's like you shouldn't be acting that way if you don't want anyone to speak on it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, that individual caused it upon themselves. So it is what it is. But yeah, so it's like, hey, I mean, but again, we know that at the end of the day, we don't have any control over anyone but what? Ourselves, right? So we can't control, narcissists. We can only control ourselves. So it is what it is. So let's kind of talk about the cults. Let's finish more. What we're doing, this is a part 3 to the Narc cult. So this is sort of the thing that would happen. And before we do get into that, I did just want to share more of what I had learned about certain narc cults that would begin to happen. And like I said, this was from an individual, a suspected malignant female narc. This was an older person here, a lot older in age. And, typical narc here. Very attention seeking, very just critical, demanding, and, wanting information about individuals, that individual had no business being involved in, and doing the love bombing, right? So, narcissists like to do the love bombing in the beginning, where they like to make it seem like, oh, I'm this sweet person, and I'm not like how you think I am, and this and this and that. They do the love bombing for a short period of time. Sometimes the love bombing can last longer than normal. I know, like with my aunt, I mean, the love bombing stage it lasted for about a year. And then other situations with this individual that I had met back in 2021 here, the love bombing stage wasn't that long. It was about maybe a couple months or so. And then, I mean, I had seen it before, but I was just like, okay, let me just see it just a tad bit more, just to kind of get that confirmation. You get what I'm saying? And then I was just like, oh, okay, I got it. But yeah, so this person basically, well, admitted that, that she had been molested and things like that, and she had admitted that she did try to poison her husband and stuff like that. Um, but from the other members of the cult family, the one person was saying that he had gotten beat by his dad. The person got beat by his dad, and it was like an everyday thing. And the mother, the narc mother, never really did anything about it, never really tried to stop it, allowed the abuse to go on, the physical abuse of the son. She allowed it to happen for years, years and years and years, never really did anything. And, you know, a lot of times when stuff like that happens, that does cause a lot of resentment, a lot of hate, anger, bitterness, frustration to happen. And, you know, folks growing up, and they don't really heal, they don't really do the inner work. And so that when they get into a relationship, it causes them to lash out on innocent people, or to lash out on, you know, other types of relationships and connections and things like that, you know. So, you know, that did happen. And the person actually said that one time he got beat so bad. And I'm not going to say that the father was a narc, but I know for sure that the mother was. But the thing about it was, he said that he got beat so bad one time that he had whelps on his body, and that he had to sit in a tub of ice for the wounds to heal in order for him to stop feeling the pain. That's how badly he had gotten beat. You get me? In the cold. And the other thing was that he told me that at times, because with a narcissist, they're so controlling, and when they have their kids, they see their kids as an extension of themselves. So, like, basically, however the narcissist is, they want for their kids to be the same way. So again, in a cult, there's no individuality. Everyone should be the same. Everybody should think the same. Everyone should behave the same. Everybody needs to have the same mentality. You're not allowed to have any individuality. You're not allowed to be special. You're not allowed to be unique. You have to behave like everybody in the family cult. And if you don't behave like everybody in the family cult, they're going to reject you. They're going to shame you. They're going to blame you, criticize you, punish you, until you get in line with the cult. But basically, what the person said, that the individual remembers when they were a child. And I think the person was like maybe around like 8 or 9. And he said that he felt like he wasn't able to have a childhood. So a lot of times when the narc cult family members, a mother and or the father, it could be either or, but this one was specifically the narc mother, she wouldn't allow the kids to play, that they had to work, because this narc had her own business, actually. So this narc was, you know, successful. Like, you have some narcissists that turn out to be successful and things like that. You know, they have different connections and, you know, stuff like that. Like, you know, it is what it is. To each his own. But so this narc had her own business, and, you know, it was a family business type of thing. And so, you know, I guess, you know, she felt like, okay, the kids needed to help her with the business. And I get that. It's like, okay, yeah, like, you want your kids to help you out, but it's like you took away your children's childhood. Like, you didn't allow them to be a kid. You made them work as if they was an adult. So again, you guys get it. So the whole parentification. So the narcs, they treat their kids like, you know, like adults, you know, and then the narcs like to be treated like kids. So they like to have that whole reversal in roles. But anyway, the person was just saying every day that they would have to work like as if they were like adults, and they were like kids, you know. And so, you know, as this person grew up and got older, it was like he felt like he wanted to get his childhood back. You see the damage that they can cause in their kids. And so, and it happens all the time. It's a very common thing that narcissistic parents will strip and take away their kids' childhood, and, you know, in some kids, that's a betrayal. I mean, because it kind of is. It's just like every kid deserves to have a childhood, but the narcissist is so selfish and they're so focused on themselves and they only care about how it's going to make them look to other people. Then that's what they do. Now, it's nothing wrong with focusing on yourself. I will tell you that, because sometimes in order for things to, if you're trying to accomplish things in life, you have to focus. Like, you have to be zoned in and you have to focus on what it is that you're doing, but not to the point where you're hurting other people, not to the point where you're like ruining other people's lives and you're mentally trying to hurt other people or sabotage situations, and because you're miserable, you're trying to make other people miserable. We're not talking about that. You guys get me? But the other thing about it was, not only did this narc mother make her children work like adults, but if the work didn't get done, they wouldn't eat. So if the work didn't get done, like how the narcissist didn't like it, or to up to their standards, they wouldn't feed the kids. And that's abuse. When you deprive kids of food, shelter, that's abuse. And so those are some other secrets in the narc cult. Like, they'll abuse their kids physically, they'll try to hide it, right? And the crazy part, the individual told me that the only reason that they found out that he was being abused, because when he went to school, they saw the whelps on the person's on the skin, and they was looking like, wait, like what happened, and he was making stuff up. But then he finally like said something like, yeah, like, I'm being abused by my dad. Like, I literally had to get in a tub of ice to help with these wounds that I had on my body, and so stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? And so a lot of this does happen in these family cults, so you just really got to be careful. And some people, when they find out they're in a cult, some people are just like, hey, you know what? This is all I know. This is my mom. This is what my dad. It is what it is, type of thing. So they don't really care to do anything about it, But other people, they're like, hey, you know what? That's not cool. Like, I don't want to be a part of this cult, and those are the ones that like take a stand and then they speak out and they speak up. So that's always a good thing. But a lot of times there is a lot of fear put in these individuals, because again, sometimes if those individuals are dependent on their mother or their father, the matriarch or the patriarch of the cult, then they don't want to say anything because they feel like, oh, they're going to be sharing all the secrets, or they're going to be revealing things that they was told to hush hush and not say anything, stuff like that. And so some of them, they just allow it to happen. But the thing about that, which is not good, is that future generations will be affected. So it's always good to like speak up, because I mean, of course, there are generational curses, there's generational traumas and things like that occur. So it's like, you don't want to continue to keep passing that on to your kids. You get what I'm saying? It's like, they don't deserve that, And for me, like, when I think about stuff like that, I'm just like, wow, like, I think like, and I'm not saying that I'm not in a cult myself. Like, my family dynamic definitely was not a cult. But just as a general like assessment of like my own family dynamic, I look like, wow, like, my parents didn't really think about, the generational curses that they've experienced. They didn't think like, oh, okay, like, when I have my son or when I have my daughter, I don't want them to have to go through like what I went through. I guess they just didn't like look at it like that. Maybe they was just so focused on work, or they just was kind of caught up in the matrix, and they didn't think about, okay, like, let me try to build something for my kids. You get what I'm saying? Let me try to have a life, or build a life for them, so that way they don't have to go through like what I've gone through, So sometimes I think about that and I'm like, wow, like they didn't think about that in regards to me. And that before, that did kind of like made me feel a type of way. I'm just like, wow. But again, I did talk about that with my parents, not blaming them for anything, but it just kind of like, oh, okay, not saying that they maybe didn't think about that, but maybe they just didn't have the courage to do it, or they just, I don't know what they was thinking. But I mean, I love my parents dearly, I do, always will. But it's just kind of like, I just wonder about stuff like that. I don't know if any of you guys wonder about that, but I don't know. I definitely do, for sure. So, but anyway, so let's see. Zach9, they target everyone new to the channel. Welcome, welcome. Cult version 2.0. Yes. And Shay, thanks for that. I entirely sorry. No, you're good. What are you cooking, Shay? If you don't mind me asking, what are you cooking? And the cycle of toxicity continues. Absolutely, unfortunately. And like I said, these folks don't do any healing. And a lot of times it comes because they don't want to take accountability for their actions. They're like, oh, so what they'll do is they'll do all this stuff. Like a lot of these narcissists out here, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be mothers, fathers, uncles, aunties, siblings, in-laws. Like they're just out here behaving in a certain way and acting in a certain way and thinking that it's okay, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, they'll do certain stuff, or they'll do people wrong, or they'll hurt people or betray people, and they act like nothing is going to happen in the results to that. And they don't want to take accountability. They don't want to say like, yeah, that was messed up, or oh, I shouldn't have done that, or oh, I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have behaved that way. You get what I'm saying? And that's where things just happen. And they are the ones that are kind of having this toxicity come out, and all this hurt and this pain is occurring, and they don't want to admit to anything. They don't want to say like that, yeah, that was wrong. They're just not going to do it. And so, I mean, that's karma for them, so it's like, it is what it is. But that's why there's a lot of these type of relationships where there's lack of communication, there's a lot of unhealed wounds, there's emotions not being expressed, and all this trauma and all this generational curses, and these soul ties and these trauma bonds. And it's just because folks are not doing the inner healing. Folks are not working on themselves. And there's no judgment, because again, you guys, I'm just like you. I'm an individual that dealt with narcissistic abuse. The only thing different with me was that I had to go through the inner healing, right? I had to go through those dark night of the souls, and it was not easy at all. And yeah, I had to do the work. I mean, I just got to be honest, it was hard. It was hard because I was literally doing it by myself, you guys, literally. I mean, it was me and God, of course. A few folks, like I said, shout out to my really good, true friends. They know who they are. But outside of that, I mean, yeah, it was literally me and God. And not everybody wants to do that. And I understand why. I get it. I get why a person wouldn't want to, but it doesn't do any good for the collective. It doesn't do any good for folks out there in the dating world, or connections and friendships, relationships, or just partnerships. It doesn't do any good, because you're out there in the world, and like, let's say you're trying to connect with someone in a positive way, you're trying to meet someone, and it's like, if they don't do the inner healing, if they're behaving in a narcissistic way, they're just out here hurting people, damaging people for no reason. It's just easier for you to do the inner healing, work on yourself, so that way you can move on to the next situation. But it's like, a lot of these narcissists don't do that. And so, I mean, not only do they ruin themselves and destroy themselves, but they are destroying other people. And it's just like, when you could just easily heal, and it's just like, they refuse to do it. So it's just like, what do you do? So that's why it's just always best to focus on healing yourself, healing your family, and that's all you can do, because other folks will not do it. Because again, in a narcissist's mind, or in a cult's mind, they feel like it's nothing wrong. They feel like, oh, I didn't do anything. Oh, I never said nothing. I didn't do anything. And it's like, come on. Come on. Like, no one's stupid here. So, but yeah, that toxicity cycle continues. And you say, oh my God, yes, so selfish. Yeah, it's sad, but it's true, He says work, not normal chore type of learning. Yes, like these narcissists, they will abuse their babies, you guys. Like, it is so crazy. Like, they will hit them. And the thing about it is, like, they feel like they are doing the best that they can, or they feel like that they did the right thing. And it's just like, you don't hit your babies to the point where you almost kill them. Like, come on. Like, there has to be better parenting skills, you guys. I'm just being honest. It has to be, because as you can see, the damage that this stuff does to these people. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to relate to other people. They're trying to connect, and it doesn't work, because those wounds, those triggers, and those traumas, they come to the surface. It doesn't go anywhere, because, like I said, a lot of people don't do the work. Like, a lot of people know what they need to do, but they're just not doing it. And I think, that's fair, because God has given everybody the choice to make their own decisions. Like, God is like, okay, like, you're a human being. I've given you power. You can do what you want with your power. And what you do with your power, that determines your fate in life. You get what I'm saying? Because God is not going to force you to heal. Absolutely not. God is not going to say, oh, you have to do right. Oh, you have to heal. Oh, you have to, treat people good. You have to, behave in a way, that I would approve. God's not saying that at all. God is giving us the choice. Like, we can do good or we can do evil. It's up to you, and like I said, that determines your karma at the end of the day. So we all have the choice, so it is what it is. But yeah, they will definitely, these family cults will mistreat each other, and they make it seem like, oh, we're a happy family, but trust me, behind the scenes is not a happy camper at all. Trust me, I've seen a cult, real life cult. So yeah, it's not what it seems. And yes, I'm happy you found my channel. And if you ever want to reach out to me, Shay or Zach, please feel free. You can go to my website at livenarcfree.com, and you can book a session if you ever want to chat or talk about anything in regards to your situation dealing with the narcissist, or if you just need any guidance, any clarity, any confirmation, and things like that. I do offer unbiased advice, $10 per email. I also do have 90-day coaching programs. I have self-study books, so you guys are more than welcome to reach out to me for any of those products or services. And as I said, I'm actually still working on a project. I'm going to be getting that released to you guys very, very shortly. So I'm super excited to share that with you all. It's actually going to be for the kids. The kids definitely need the help, and they need all the support that they can get. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, it's much needed, you guys. It's truly, truly much needed, because I mean, the stuff that these kids go through behind the scenes, you guys, you would just never imagine. And you would just be, you would be shocked, like, oh my God, like, you get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times they're scared. They're scared to death to say anything to anybody, because, they don't want their mom or their dad to do anything, or a family member and an extended family member to say something. Or like I said, sometimes in these cults where the kids will be molested by a friend of the family, or even somebody in their immediate family. It could be like a mother or father will molest their own child, or they would have sexual relations with their own child, and things like that. Like, it gets crazy, you guys. I'm telling you, like, this stuff is very serious, you guys. And you have to, like I always say, you have to not only protect yourself, but you have to protect your kids, and you have to protect your loved ones at the end of the day, you guys, because this is the only life that you have. There's no other life that you're going to get. Like, I don't care what anybody says, you guys. Like, I've seen death. Like, I always talk about this because I've seen it, and I've never seen anybody that ever died. I've never seen them come back to life. I know that they're saying, like, I mean, I get the point that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So this here, like this, like my body, you see, this is not really me. Like, I am a soul living in this body, but this is just the makeup of it. You get what I'm saying? But once we transition, we go, I don't know where we go. I just know that there's another plane or something. I don't know. But I just know right now, while we're here, it's just like we have a mission. We have a purpose to fulfill. You get what I'm saying? And it's just like, you have to really focus on that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes these narcissists or these family cults that we may find ourselves, whether we was raised in a cult, or maybe you know a friend that's in a cult, or maybe you're like somebody you could be dating, or somebody, like I said, just anybody that you may know could be in a cult. You know, it's their job to, you know, get free of that, or it's their job to say that, hey, like something ain't right. You get what I'm saying? But some people are just, you know, they've been so beat down as a child, right? They've been like abused physically, like beat down, that, you know, they've just been like beat to submission at that point, you know. And that's what honestly I feel like happened to, you know, that individual that I was dealing with. I think that person was beat into submission, into being into that cult, unfortunately, you know. And also the other part was that because that individual hadn't done the inner healing and the inner work, and they also felt like their childhood was stolen from them, it was to the point that they only cared about being a child at that point. They only cared about, you know, reliving their childhood because it was stolen from them by their mother and their father. You get what I'm saying? So again, you just got to make sure that you're doing your inner work here. You guys get me? So yeah. So I hope that that made sense here, you guys. Zach, you said me too, Shay. It's a good sanity check, right? And again, you guys, I'm just the type of person. I like reality. I like being real. I like to be authentic, and I just believe in being honest. You know, I mean, I wasn't always like this. I will be honest about that. I mean, I can remember days where, you know, like when I was like 14, 15, like I wasn't like this. I didn't have a relationship like this with God. Like, you know, I would say by the time I turned like 18, 19, and when I started dealing with the narcissist, that's when things began to change for me. And I was like, oh, I see the importance of being honest. I see the importance of doing the right thing. I see the importance of being responsible. I see the importance of just following my truth and living in my truth. You get what I'm saying? I noticed that. And I also, like I said, I saw God. Like I like, not physically. I mean, now some folks, I mean, they say that we are all gods, like, you know, stuff like that. We are made in the image of God. But God is like you said, omnipresent, you know, we can't really see them, but like stuff like that. But anyway, but I've seen God show up for me in my life. Like I've seen him, like when there was times where I wasn't, you know, maybe not at my where I wanted to be, when I was like striving for more and stuff like that, and there was nobody else around. I was like, and things would happen in my life. I was like, that was nobody but God. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why I was like, oh, okay. Like I see that God is for me. God loves me. And I was like, yeah, I can never turn my back on God, because I saw like he really cared about me and he wanted the best for me. And God wanted me to be happy at the end of the day. But it was like, once I like went no contact with my aunt and the male narc, I also saw how, you know, I really began to, yeah, I saw the presence of God. I seen, like I said, not seeing him, but I felt his energy. Like I seen him show up in my life where there were, like when I was going through it, like difficult times, you know, like when I was going through the inner healing and doing the inner work, I felt God's presence. And then that's when I knew I could put my trust in him, because I was like, oh, I see he got my back. Like, oh, okay. Like, you get what I'm saying? And it was like more than like a human being. I was just like, oh, which is crazy. I know, like I said, there's folks out there you can trust, but it's rare. It's like not a lot of people you can trust, because unfortunately, you know, a lot of people are very narcissistic. A lot, not all. I'm not saying all, but you would know. Trust me, you're gonna be able to tell a person that's narcissistic versus a person that is normal, or maybe somebody just has to do some inner healing or some inner work or whatever the case may be, or just working through some traumas, or maybe somebody was betrayed or lied to and stuff like that, and maybe has to work on rebuilding that trust. Because I was the same way. Like when after I dealt with narc abuse, especially from like people that I thought I could trust, even like my blood, it was hard for me to trust. Of course, like absolutely not. I mean, it was very difficult, and I'm pretty sure you may feel the same way. It's difficult because you don't want to be hurt again. You don't want to be let down. You don't want to be disappointed, and that pain is just too much to bear. You get what I'm saying? But eventually, like when you begin to trust God, you would eventually you get on that different type of plane level, and then eventually you ask God, like, hey, bring people into my life that I can trust. And then slowly but surely, as you begin to scan and you see the actions and the behaviors, and you be like, oh, I can trust that person. Oh, I can't trust that person. Oh, I can trust that person. Like you can begin to see like who you can trust and who you can't trust. So, but yeah. Zeg, you said, you know why I'm such a good swimmer? Because my mama used to try to drown me in the bathtub. What? Oh, yeah, some of these people are really, really crazy. I must say, they're really, really crazy. You know, were you narcissistic before you're awake? No, no. I mean, I'm not narcissistic at all. Not at all. I mean, you know, the crazy part too, though, is I've been around so many narcs. You would think that I would have started to behave like them, but for me, I'm just like, I don't really see the point behind it. Like and I know that some narcs, they get a sort of like gratification, or they get a kick out of manipulating people, antagonizing people, and controlling people and stuff like that. And me, I'm just like, I don't think that way. I don't want to be that way. It's not fun. It's just actually, it's kind of silly to me. That's just my own personal opinion. I just don't see the point in doing it. But trust me, like for those of you that have been around narcissists, or maybe you grew up in a cult, or you know you live with a narc, or you've had relationships with narcs, or friends that were narcissists, or been in other types of environments where individuals had narcissistic behavior, it's easy for you to begin to behave like that because that's all you see, that's all you know. And you might be like, wow, like they got a lot of power, or wow, they got a lot of these resources, or oh, you may see fancy cars and nice houses and all these trips and vacations and stuff like that. But then, you know, you can see the person is miserable. Like, you get what I'm saying? They hate themselves, or they hate other people, and you know, they're just very unhappy, very just jealous, very envious. And it's just like, why would I want to be like that? Like, because that's how most narcissists are, very miserable, very unhappy, very negative, very competitive for no reason. It's just like, no, I don't want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? But some people, in turn, because maybe they have experienced that type of abuse, and they hold grudges, and they're like, oh, well, you did this to me, so I'm gonna behave this way. Or like, let's say like a person that's a narc, they became a narc because of maybe a previous person, or they became a narc because of their parent. You get what I'm saying? So there was no inner healing work done, there was no like recovery work done, no counseling, nothing. And they just like, oh, since I got hurt, I'm gonna just hurt everybody else from now on. It's just like, no, like that should not happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? But some people just don't care. They're just like, oh, everybody's gonna get it now because I've been hurt. It's just like, yeah, I mean, it's your own choice, you know. So and that's the other thing, is sometimes narcissists, they'll hold grudges against you for stuff that they did to you. Like sometimes narcissists, they'll betray you and then they'll hold a grudge against you. It's like, why are you doing that? Like you can easily just speak up and say like, what's the problem? Like, you know. But yeah, so it's interesting, I must say. So highest of high, gods of all. Zeg, you're funny. Lord Jesus. Lord help us all, right? So, but let's kind of do a little bit more of this cult stuff, and then we'll get into how a lot of narcissists usually end up alone. I mean, it's kind of a sad reality, but I mean, it's the truth, you know. And like I said, this is all about being honest on this channel. And I don't know, for me, because I would want to be told the truth. That's just me. Like, I'm not one of those type of persons where a pretty lie works, because I don't know, because I feel like if you lie, you have to keep it up as far as the lie, and then it gets difficult to keep up with the lie because you have to keep being devious, you have to hide stuff, and you have to be strategic, and it's just kind of like, just be honest, and then you don't have to do that. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like, it's easier to be honest. Like, and I learned that at a very young age. I'm like, yeah, this lying stuff is not getting me anywhere. Even like, think about it, like when you was a kid, remember you being a kid, like when you lied, didn't you get beat? Like, didn't you get punished? Didn't you get grounded when you lied? But then when you told the truth, what, you see the difference? When you told the truth, even though the persons may have not liked it, it didn't sound good, but when you was honest, you get what I'm saying? So yeah. But anywho, so in regards to the narcissistic family cult, I believe I left off. I think the denial is rampant here. So let's kind of go over that. So in these cults, there's a lot of denial that occurs here. So again, you guys can go to psychologicaltoday.com. So it just says in these families, rage often is normalized and denial may be rampant. So again, a lot of these cults, they like to deny that they're a cult. They like to deny that there's abuse going on. And the kids are forced to deny, because when these individuals, when they're younger, like, like I was sharing a story with the person that was like 8 or 9. I mean, and that individual even told me, you guys, it was like they would go into their room because there was always a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing, and like a lot of like things being broken, like dishes being slammed on the floor, and all this like fighting back and forth and stuff like that. The individual told me that they would go into their room and they would pretend that they were somewhere else. So that this individual was forced to deny like what was going on. This person had to go into a whole different reality in their mind and act like it wasn't happening. So that's the thing with these cults. There's a lot of denial that happens, but there's also a lot of rage too, because the kids get angry. They're like, why are my parents fighting like this? Why are my parents always back and forth? And you get what I'm saying? Why is this happening? And then also too, that can cause for the kid to be depressed, stressed out, suicidal, because the kid begins to think that it's their fault. You get what I'm saying? So, you definitely have a lot of that going on in these cults here. Now, there's also guilt shaming, right? So unspoken rules about who can get attention and when, using guilt or shame to control others, devaluing certain individuals, and general discard for each other's feelings and emotions. So, you definitely have a lot of that. So, again, these cults that say like, hey, don't say anything about what goes on. Don't say that you're being abused. Don't say that, we practice spiritual rituals, or we use magic or spell works, and that we may try to poison your food or poison your drinks and stuff like that, and sacrifice people. Like, don't say nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those like unspoken rules, So, you definitely have that. Now, there's a lot of low self-esteem as well with these individuals. So, just not feeling good enough, feeling unworthy, useless, worthless, because they've been abused. A lot of these individuals, they're doing a lot of this abusing and, put downs and all this kind of stuff. Like bullying within the cults, and shaming, blaming, humiliating one another, embarrassing one another, and so this can cause for a lot of like low self-esteem. So gaslighting, neglect, devaluation are all aspects of NPD that have long-ranging effects on a child's sense of worth and self-esteem. So people pleasing, wanting, like being a doormat, and what is the other one? It's people pleasing, being a doormat, and there's another one that I want to mention. I'm trying to think of it. There's something, but it's on the tip of my tongue here. But anyways, this definitely does happen in these type of dynamics. People pleasing, doormat, and stuff like that. All right, and then You said, yeah, the truth is your shield. Absolutely. And what's up, Blue Flash? What's going on? Welcome. Okay, and then questioning and dissent are not tolerated. So in the cults, they don't want you to question anything. They don't want you to speak up. They don't want you to be like, hey, what's going on here? Like, they don't want you to be like, why is mommy acting like that? Why is daddy acting like that? Why do I get mistreated? Why do I get blamed for stuff that I didn't do? Why are we trying to sacrifice one another? Why are we trying to do this type of stuff for money? Like, because narcissists, they will do anything for money, right? So they'll take on like weird type of jobs and stuff like that for money. They'll, like I said, and then some of them they'll get in trouble. They'll get in trouble. Some of them they'll end up getting involved in the legal stuff. So some of them may actually go to jail and stuff. Some of them may get arrested and stuff like that because of what they do to other people. Like sometimes, they'll one whole cult can try to sacrifice one person and stuff like that. So yeah. Let me look here. But yeah, so questioning and dissent are not tolerated. Having doubts about the leader or the cult is considered shameful or sinful. Yeah, so you can't question the leader or anything. Living in a narcissistic family cult can be lonely, painful, and confusing. When you grow up in this environment, you may not be fully aware that it's dysfunctional. So yeah, you do have that going on. Hold on one second, you guys. I just want to check on something. And then, that was the other thing, a pushover, you guys. So some folks that have low self-esteem, they either will be a people pleaser, a doormat, or a pushover. So just, keep that in mind. I was like, that's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah. Now, narcissism, again, self-centered personality style, characteristic as having an excessive preoccupation of oneself and one's own needs, often at the expense of others. So yeah, they'll do anything to, like, they'll play in your energy. They'll try to swap destinies. They'll try to pretend to be you and you them. They'll try to steal stuff from you. They'll try to set you up. Yeah. And the thing is, they think that you don't know. And it's just like, yeah, like you knew all along. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, they're very sneaky. As I always say, not to be trusted. And they do stuff in access. They'll just keep doing it over and over and over again and expecting a different result. That's literally the definition of insanity. Like you guys can actually Google that and see that. So, but I'm pretty sure that those type of individuals learned that from, whoever is in their family cult. They probably learned that type of behavior because, again, when people behave when they behave in a narcissistic way or they're like having NPD, that was a learned behavior, whether it was from a family dynamic or if it was like romantic or, another type of situation. They actually learned that behavior. So, it is what it is, right? But yeah, and a lot of times they like to use your energy against you, so they need you though. They need you. They need your energy, whether if it's they're trying to manifest something or they're trying to get something from you, they need you, so they're very codependent individuals. So stuff like that. But yeah, that they view their family as a status symbol and stuff like that. Yeah, the thing about it, the cult of the narcissist, when considering the mechanisms of mind control, it's a matter of the victim instantly losing all free will. Yeah, so the other thing about narcissists, they like to control your mind and stuff like that. They like to brainwash you and things like that. Yeah. So again, the other part of the cult is that, again, they'll isolate you. So keeping a child isolated from the society, makes them vulnerable to the abuse. Or let's say if it's like a friend or another type of situation, they like to isolate you from your friends and the people that can actually help you see what's going on and stuff like that. um, they try to like keep you away from people that kind of see through them, and they want you to be around people that don't know what's going on, because it's easier for them to hide stuff. It's easier for them to manipulate a situation and things like that. I know, like me personally, I definitely was isolated many years ago dealing with the narcissist, the male narc. I was definitely isolated. And yeah, it's crazy how that can happen, because you really trust these individuals, right? And that's how a lot of times you don't, like, once you've been betrayed by a narc, it's hard for you to trust normal people, because you're going to feel like everybody else is going to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, once you're aware of it, it's just, you just kind of have to just scan folks from future reference, just scan and see, just over a period of time, just look at their behavior. You'll just kind of be able to see, yeah, they try to swap destiny, dream snatchers. So they feel like, oh, that person has something that I want. They'll try to pretend like you are them and they are you. Or they try to make you take a fall for something that they've done against you. They'll try to make you responsible for that. They try to make you take upon their karma. It's like, no, you're gonna get that bad karma. Like, I'm not taking upon anybody's bad karma. Like, I have good karma. I'm not taking anybody's bad karma at all. So, yeah, they definitely try to do a destiny swap for sure. Let me see. He said, I'm hanging in there, demon hunting. I mean, you definitely got to be mindful of these demons. I mean, and that's the thing, these narcs, they are demon possessed. I mean, it's crazy. It's like literally an entity has taken over these narcs. Like, especially if they're doing something in excess, they're doing something over and over and over and over and over again, and it's just like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? That's just not normal. Like, you get me? And so but yeah, a lot of times they're demon possessed. There's an entity inside of them, that is just possessed, or they're just obsessed about your energy, or they're, trying to indulge in your energy or whatever. They feel like, they can hide in your energy, because a lot of times narcissists don't have personality. So, they'll latch on to somebody and try to become them and try to destiny swap. It's just like, no, I'm not like you and you're not like me. So just stay over there. So, you said thankful for the divine feminine here. Okay. That's interesting. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this stuff is not easy to talk about, but like I said, it has to be said, you know. Like I said, this can actually be saving somebody. You never know, like whatever story or message that you have, you can actually save a life. You can save a life. You can help rescue somebody from a situation. You can help like free somebody from a situation. You never know who it is. You never know who it is, who's watching. Like I said, I know there's narcs watching for sure, because they, but there could be innocent victims watching, or folks that are being abused like right now in this moment. And they may want to know what to do, or they maybe they feel like they're in a cult, but they're not sure. Maybe this is a confirmation, like, yeah, like whether you're in a cult yourself, or somebody that could be in a cult that you have a feeling about, or or this is just information for you to share with people that could be dealing with, or maybe you're trying to support somebody dealing with the abuse. Maybe you could share this video with them, or whatever the case may be, or just for future reference. Maybe this is just something you can share with your children, not to scare them or anything, but it's just like, hey, this is a real world we're living in. Not everybody's going to be smiling. There's some evil people out there that are looking to hurt, kill, steal, and destroy. That's just the reality, unfortunately. It's just being honest, right? So, the one thing that I do love about God, though, is He say, "Yea, do I walk through the valley and shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because Thou art with me." And I've literally heard that on a video, and I was just like, "Yo, like I really love that so much," because God is just saying that it doesn't matter. Like, you walk through the valley of the shadow of the death and you fear no evil because God is with you. So, I mean, I hold on to that. Like, you get what I'm saying? God is with us. Like, if you believe in God, like, God will be your armor. He will protect you and keep you safe. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell folks and I tell you guys about God, because literally he is like amazing. He's everything to me, and he's literally been my savior, like for real. So God, he's your ride or die, like for real, for real. I've like God is my ride or die. Like I can say that for a fact. Like, and I love him for that, for life. Like I can never, ever, 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 ever. I can never turn my back on God. I just can't. Like he just shown me he's been there for me. Even like when the worst times of my life, God was with me. Never left me, never gave up, never disappointed me, ever. And God can be that way for you too. I can't believe I've been on here for an hour. Oh my gosh. I was not planning on being on here for an hour, y'all. Oh my Lord Jesus. But yes, God is amazing. I love him so, so much. But yeah. So, anywho, you guys, I've been on here for an hour. Oh my Jesus. Oh, okay. So before we go, yes, they get to abuse boundaries. They keep everyone in set, designed by the narcissist, and they can be used to ostracize anyone who doesn't play by the rules. So, just keep that in mind. So the narcissist will try to isolate you, and they will abuse you and stuff like that. And then whether this is your parents, in-laws, anyone. And then again, so lack of trust, right? In these cults. So the intimacy is a battlefield for a child of narcissism, the child who keeps opening up their heart but is rejected without knowing why. So again, when you're in these narcissistic cults, there's no trust, because the people that was supposed to have trusted you, the people that you thought was going to have your back, they betray you, they lied to you, and things like that. So that makes you kind of like, who do I trust? You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel like, just kind of on edge and just kind of waiting for the next like betrayal or waiting for the next person to lie to you and stuff like that. So you kind of live like that, and it's like no one should have to live like that. But if you grow up in a cult, or if you've been with a narc, that's, you take on like PTSD, like post-traumatic stress disorder, or you have like a trauma bond, or it's like a Stockholm syndrome type of thing. And then the constant criticism and the lack of validation from a narcissistic parent can leave you questioning your own worth and your capabilities. So yes, these narcissistic family cults do so much damage to these kids. And it's really, really sad, to be honest. It's very, very sad, because these parents, they abuse their power, they abuse their authority, and they don't care at all. I'm pretty sure these people do not care. It's about them and their own benefit and how they look to other people. They don't care about their kids. They don't care about you. Like I said, a lot of times they don't even care about themselves. So, yeah. So you guys, all right, and then we have, opposition to independent thinking. So opposition to independent thinking. So cult leaders frown upon members who show any inclinations towards their own independent thinking. So again, they want you to think just like them. They want you to behave just like them. They want you to act just like them, because that makes them feel comfortable. If they feel like if you think different than them, that's a threat to them. They're like, oh, they're not like us, or oh, they're gonna like tell our secrets and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, because you shouldn't be treating people like that, or behaving this way to people, especially if they're your family, or even if they're strangers. Strangers don't deserve that, or people you don't know don't deserve to be treated that way. So yeah. Let's look. And then, it says they will carry esteem issues, but they are still better off than the golden child. First, they tend to be independent thinkers, knowing that there is a difference. So again, as I was saying, there's different dynamics in this cult. So again, you have the matriarch, the patriarch, you have the golden child, which is the child that does everything right. There's a hero child that like comes to the rescue, is trying to save everybody, people pleasing. the lost child that feels lost, confused, the isolated child that's isolated, neglected, and then there's a scapegoat where this person gets blamed for everything. Everything that happens in the family, then it goes on the kid or the adult or whoever, And sometimes in the cult, it can you can shift from being the golden child to the scapegoat, or the hero child to the lost child. It can kind of go back and forth. Now, living with my aunt, because my aunt was a narc, and essentially she kind of had like a little cult thing going on. So, but not like my immediate mother or father. I don't think that was a cult. But when it came to my aunt and her household, she tried to make it like a cult. And I literally went from being a golden child to being a scapegoat to being a lost child to being, a hero child. So, you kind of shift and you go back and forth. And then also too, what the narcs like to do is they like to pin the siblings against each other. So they're always like constant battling and fighting with one another, jealousy, envy, competition, and stuff like that. But sometimes the siblings will begin to see like what's going on. And actually, my cousin, which him and I were still cool, but he even admitted to me, and I did talk about this in my book on Reclaim Your Life Back. Make sure that you do get that, and also get Your Pain Will Make You Successful. But he literally told me one time when my aunt was going through it with her husband, he was like, Joy, he was like, you got to get out of here. And I was like, yes, I know. You get what I'm saying? So we both knew what was going on. That it was just something wasn't right, And so, but my other cousin, which was his brother, he was a little bit. I think he was kind of like the golden child, a little bit, almost like the hero child. So him and I, we would clash and stuff like that. But my other cousin, which was his brother, he was the oldest. Him and I, we connected well. I mean, he was like, he knew, but the crazy part is I think he still lives with his mom, which was my aunt. So, that's his own journey. I wish him the best. And him and I were still cool though, but it is what it is. Oh yeah, for sure. You can get my book, Zach. You can go to Amazon and get my book, Reclaim Your Life Back, and also Your Pain Will Make You Successful. And you can read about it and things like that. I can actually leave the link here. Oh my, I can't believe I've been on here for an hour, y'all. This is crazy. Oh my Jesus. Lord help me. But yeah, I do talk a lot about that. My experience dealing with the narcissist. And honestly, I don't wish narcissism on anybody, you guys. I mean, it was truly painful. I gotta be honest. It really was, but I'm glad that God allowed me to overcome it, and if you are close to God, you will overcome it as well. But again, you have to have your faith. You have to trust. And the thing about God too, is he has to test you. God is going to test you because not everybody is how they present themselves. And I get it. I mean, we all want to be liked and loved and stuff like that, but God can see a person's heart. So sometimes, folks can, behave a certain way and things like that. But God can see people behind closed doors. God can see people. And sometimes, it's not a pretty thing when you see a person's heart, or God can see a person's heart, but you may not be able to see, so that is just something to keep in mind. But yes, Zach, go ahead and get both of my books, and you can read about them in my story in both of those books, or you can go to my site as well. I'm gonna try to see if I can. I think I probably put too many things in here. Hold on. And then same for you, Blue Flash and Shay Love as well. You guys are welcome to read more about my story and things like that. And as usual, you guys, I never mention names because for me, it's never about the name. It's always just about the lesson, right? That's just my mentality. Like, because I know that there's other folks out there that mention names and things like that. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I don't really subscribe to that kind of stuff. So, it is what it is. But man, you guys, I've been on here for a minute. Jesus, Lord, help us. All All right, so the last thing, well, we kind of already talked about the golden child. So the golden child is frequently the one that is easily molded into the narcissist image, whether chosen for the looks, intelligence, or other qualities. They will carry the esteem issues, but they are still better off than the golden child. First, they tend to be independent thinkers, but then, the narcissist begins to mold that golden child and things like that. The narcissistic family works as a unit. The narcissist parent instructs it that way. One child is useful, another one isn't. One child is worth it, another one isn't. You get what I'm saying? So the two of the biggest, like, I guess, competition that the narc mother-in-law or the narc parent would do is pin the golden child against the scapegoat, because those two different children or adult children, they have two different experiences with the narcissist. So again, the golden child is made in the narcissist image. Well, actually, all of them. The narcissist wants all of their children or everybody in the cult to be like them. But the scapegoat is the one that rebels. The scapegoat is the one that takes a stand. The scapegoat is the one that is the honest one, and they'll speak up and speak out and stuff like that. And the people in the cult begin to hate the scapegoat. The people in the cult begin to bash and shame and gossip and start a smear campaign against the scapegoat, because they're being honest and they're revealing secrets about the cult. So that you have that kind of dynamic here. But yeah, you guys, that's it. I don't want to take too much of you guys' time on a Sunday. I hope that you guys learned a lot. If there are any other topics that you guys want to learn about, please feel free to leave them in the chat, or you can leave them underneath this video here. So you guys are welcome to do that. But make sure that if you guys want to reach out to me to get any advice, any support in any way, go to my website. I did leave it in the chat here. Or if you would like to support the channel, you guys are welcome to leave a donation. You can do so at Coach Joy, $Coach Joy 510, which would be via Cashapp, or you can leave a donation via PayPal, which would be at livenarcfree9@gmail.com. Whatever you do give, it is truly appreciated. And it definitely does go to the Live Narc Free Ministries. So I truly, truly do thank you guys for that. And let me just go ahead and leave it here. But like I said, if any other way I can support you, like I said, just visit my website, and I look forward to hearing from you all. Don't forget to get your sugar scrub. And I do have some folks that did place some orders in, so I definitely am going to be restocking. I do have right now my milk and coconut, so you guys make sure that you do get yours. Beautiful milk and coconut. They're only $27, so make sure that you do order yours today. Definitely get your self-care and skincare and regimen going, and taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, making yourself feel important, and pampering yourself, because the narcissist isn't going to do it. The narcissist is going to make you, try to self-sabotage you and try to make you self-destruct and distract you and stuff like that. It's like, no, keep the focus on yourself, love yourself, pamper yourself, value yourself, and heal, recover, because the more you can heal, the more you can recover, do the inner work, the narcissist is going to repel, because they don't resonate with that. They don't want to do that. So you're not going to be in an alignment with an individual that is a narc, because they're not going to do the inner work. It is what it is. So anyway, I love you guys. I want to give you guys a hug. I hope that this was helpful and insightful, and hopefully you learned a lot. Like I said, share this video with a friend or a family member. And thank you. Yeah. Namaste, everybody. I love you all so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And till the next time. Love you all. Bye now.